What's up, everybody? It's your favorite front-end loader's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the X-Transbots Scrapper, or as they call him, Ground Bite. I bought this guy from my personal collection. I think this is the first Transformer that I've received this year that I've bought. Still made it in the month of January, which is nice. Off to a nice start. And although it came in last week, I had a house guest. The King of England himself, Mr. Cody, was here. So I just kind of put all this stuff on pause and enjoy some time with my buddy, so to speak. That being said, we're going to take a look at this guy, but in order to do so, we need to first look at accessories. So he comes with these. These are to swap out at the shoulder if you'd prefer this look over the tires. I personally would never use this, but if you would, then it has that option there for you. It's green plastic, it's painted, it has these two squares in it, which I also think look a bit unsightly, but, you know, there you are. And you could follow this through in the combine mode as well, I believe. So, like, all of that should pay out for you if this is something that interests you. He comes with two trumpets. I'm not sure if maybe Long Haul didn't come with one and they're trying to make up for lost time. I'm not really sure why. They are completely brassed out with the gold there and even some silver, I think, which would give us silver and gold. There's also a tab right here that corresponds to a slot in his hand. But he doesn't hold it all that well. It is there, and he is holding it, obviously, as you can see, but it's not the firmest connection. I'm not sure if that's because of the chrome. I'm not sure if it's because of this bit here at the bottom bumping up against that bit there at the wrist, but he can hold it. It's just not the greatest connection. He comes with a sword, which is nice to see. Silver blade and onyx, kind of metallic onyx on the hilt. Looks good. You have a tab on either side of the hilt, which once again will tab into the palm of his hand. And once again is giving me some grief, but let's see if we can't. Not the best, dude. There. Got it. So you can do it. You can get this one in there for sure, so to speak, but just a little bit of a bear to get there. And then he comes with a pistol. Once again, we had this black onyx metallic paint. Looks pretty good. And then we have the gunmetal silver on the barrel. And that will tab into the palm of his hand, but once again, it's not the greatest connection in the world, not the easiest to access, but it will go. The gun can store in alt mode by tabbing it using these slots into the sides of these panels. And then you got to put everything kind of back together, and not the most user-friendly experience, but you can store it. He comes with two parts forming pieces for Devastator. We have this bit here that extends for the chest plate, painted in purple. It looks like it should extend further. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure why it gets caught up there. I guess it's this part here. Does this move out? Yeah, I don't know. Looks like it should extend further, but that's as far as I can get it. This is the thigh. We'll incorporate this later on. But painted all in green, so no need to worry. You can utilize these in alt mode by sliding this onto the back and then using these to kind of grip onto it to secure it, and then take this and wedge it pretty much to do this. If you so desire, you know, it's an intended thing, but you know, I guess cool that you can do it, but I mean, a bit much, right? And then lastly, you get this plate to kind of sit in to make this bottom thing, you know, display piece. So it's painted silver. It's made up of different components that you can take out and use modularly, but it all seems to be the same so far. So let's get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. And I think it looks great. The silver is painted, the black is painted, has the chromed eyes. They look fantastic. The neck plate does move, doesn't really lock in super tight, so that's a bit of a bummer. The head is on a hinge swivel, plus that neck gets you a little bit extra, so you can get up to a crazy degree, a good bit down, and the swivel. So no real complaints on my end. I even like the little extra sculpt work in the little visor there. I think all that stuff looks good. All right, moving on to the torso. The purple is painted, looks fantastic. It's like a metallic-esque purple, plus the 2 shades of silver, and then the red up top as well. You get a full waist swivel. How about that? Isn't that nice? There also is an ab crunch, which I totally missed. Nicely done, X-Transbots. Shoulder. So I have some good things to say and some bad things to say about the shoulder. So since they're have these swappable parts, this doesn't, like, I don't know, it's like wibbly wobbly on here, and it's kind of obnoxious. It doesn't really get in the way of anything. It just feels less than stellar. The joint gets you up to 90 degrees and then 360 around. There actually is a butterfly joint that gets you all the way across, which is nice too. Pretty sweet. You have the elbow here. That's a single joint, but gets you past 90 degrees, slightly, but past it. Bicep swivel, wrist swivel, fingers on a base pin knuckle. The index finger is individually articulated with a secondary finger. It has some typewriter fingers, but they're not the worst we've ever seen, but they are typewriter fingers. And then the other 3 fingers have a secondary knuckle as well, but they're all together. The thumb is on a base hinge here that comes out to a secondary and tertiary knuckle, which is a bit extreme, in my opinion, and a little overkill, but it's there. Wrist swivel, if we haven't already mentioned that. And then the green is all painted. Same for the other side. We can extend that as well. All right. Actually, let me see if I can get a double joint out of there now. Oh, there is a double joint in there. So it doesn't get you a whole lot more range-wise because you end up bumping into the bicep, but it is there. Then you have metal here, like the die cast that comes through deco-wise, looks good. All right, the hip skirts. I'm not a fan of this design of Scrapper with like the black and white stripes. Never have been, but they carried through with it. Another thing I'm not crazy about is this gray piece here. Green piece here. And then also the green hips. I actually find the green hips to be a huge turnoff. A huge eyesore, and they stick out. Like, even with the hip skirts down, that green line sticks out. Not a fan. All right, universals for hips. Full Van Damme. Full Monty. Thigh swivel. Metal thighs. And then we have a single hinge knee here, and then a secondary knee hinge there that gets you the full run. Now, similar to the hips, I don't like these green knees. Same sort of situation. What I do like, though, is a little bit of extra sculpt work down here in the lower legs. I even like this little real-world vehicle stuff protruding through the legs. I prefer that much more than like just the simple straight block design. Other than that, it's just green for the bottom there. This is a soft ratchet too, if that matters to you. And then we have the wheels on the side with the die cast showing through there. Ankles, you get a toe tilt down, nothing really up. You can use the heel for support any which way you'd like. And then you get a rocker. Once again, it's at the toe, but it should get you what you need. And there he is from the back. Relatively clean, I'll say. Or if I do say so myself, you know what I mean? Size comparison wise, there he is next to Long Haul. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about the colors of green matching. And the truth is that there's variants of the green everywhere, depending on the plastic, the materials, etc. And the same thing remains true for the Scrapper as it is for the Long Haul. So the variants of that green are all over the place. There may be a ratio imbalance where the subtler shade that's lighter versus the subtler shade that's darker is more present in one than the other. But that key word there is subtle, and I don't think you'll ever notice a difference with them on your shelf. It was a huge concern for me when I started hearing the news. I wouldn't sweat it one bit. Doesn't bother me one iota, and I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to color palette. The green hips in Scrapper far more irritating to me than the subtle shade variances. There it is next to a Fans Toy Stunticon. So significantly bigger, honestly. Not sure if I saw that coming, so to speak, but there you have it. And there it is next to the Toy World version. You know, huge difference stylization-wise, of course, but it gives you an idea size-wise as well. All right, let's get him transformed. So the bulk of the work up top is all of this stuff, this backpack. So we got to untab the front end loader from this piece here. And then we got to sort this piece. This slides out. This opens up. And then these armatures here slide out. But they don't slide out all that nicely, unfortunately. But they will go. And it's very thin plastic here. So use caution. Just make sure you have them out as far as possible. All right. And then open this up here. There's like a little side tab. Oh, just a screw cover. Didn't break it. Thank goodness. I'm just going to set that to the side. We're going to open this up. The screw cover goes there, by the way. Same on this side. That one came much easier, so to speak. We're going to open that up. And then we can bring all of this out. We can get the head out of here. Open this up. Tuck it to the side. Bring it in. And collapse it. There's 2 pegs here. Just got to get them to line up. All right, so now we have this. So there's these 2 armatures here. And they'll unpeg. And then you have, let's see. These pegs here at the end that have to connect to these pieces at the top of the front end loader. So rotate those up. I just don't want to put too much pressure on this thing. Let me see if I can get this off camera. All right, so I got it. It's a little bit of a bear, and then you just tab these 2 armatures back in. Then you can move all of that to the front. This comes up. I think you can tab your shoulders back in. And then this piece here opens up. Bring out the steering wheel. And then you can close that back up. Actually, this is supposed to... Sorry, this is supposed to latch back down on it. There. And then the seat comes up and the controls come up, which is a pretty nice touch. And all of that. Okay, and then the arms, we have these panels here on the side that we need to get access to. There we go. They open up. The fist spin around. And then this comes back up and closes up. So same on this side. And spin them with the elbows out to the side. And then collapse them in. Okay, so let's rotate this piece down. And let's rotate the heel to the toe. We can open up this section. This just sort of stays out of the way for now. There's a little tab or a little panel right here that flips out. And let that be your reminder to flip another little panel out here on the front. Then there's this section that has to push through, and then this rotates so that you can get the exhaust pipe, which I think is very, very nice, very clever. And then this closes back down. Okay, the next step is to collapse this. So take this hip skirt here, push that out. You're going to use the lower knee joint, make sure that all this stuff is still out to the side, and this panel here needs to flip out. But before you do so, tuck that toe in. Okay, so this is going to rotate at the bottom joint, and there's a tab on this panel that goes into the purple hip skirt there. And fills all that in rather nicely. And then lines up with that hip skirt. And then on the bottom here, you just want to make sure that you unfurl all of this stuff. I can't remember whether you had to have that piece out or not. I don't know. If I do, I'll correct it on the next one. Open this up. Tuck this piece in. Bring this around. There's a female connection point there that will connect with a male connection point there. Bring these up. Line all that up. This can be a bit of a burden, but just stay with it and you'll get it. And then here underneath, you're going to bring down this tab. That connects here. Bring up this flap. This flap has a little notch. That notch will go into the side of the pelvis. So tabs in there. And then there. And then bring your wheel down. All right, same on this one. So we're going to open up this flap just so we don't forget that. We're going to come down here. We're going to rotate this piece out. We're going to rotate the heel down to the toe. And we're going to open up this stuff here. By hook or by bloody crook. What's catching me up here? There, didn't feel good, but I got it. We're gonna open up this little flap we see immediately. This should hopefully be a reminder for us that we had to flip this flap as well. And then let's see. Let's get this out of the way. Push on this side, which will allow us to reverse this panel and then close it back down. And then we can tuck our toe in and we can flip this flap out. And then we can rotate at the bottommost joint. And bring all of this together. Underneath here on the bottom, we need to... Some of this stuff is really stuck in there, so use caution. Let's see. There. All right. Open that up. Open these flaps here. That flap's already in. Connect. Connect. And then unfurl all of this. male to female there. And then this comes around and grabs in to the pelvis. And then it's just a matter of lining all of this. And these two panels collapsed. All right, here. Here's one. The other one fell out. There's the other. These have to interlock, so. It's a little bit of a burden. I'll get this locked. See, you see the problem, right? Like as you go to push, these panels have a tendency to want to push down and collapse instead of connecting. And then rotate your tire down. And then I think that's it. All right, I got it pretty close. So with the ab crunch engaged, we got a tab in the arm. So there's a connection here that goes into a port there. And then there's a slot there for a tab here. All right, one. And there's not a whole lot of structural integrity to push against, which is really my only criticism with the transformation of this guy. All right, same for this side. There's one, and there's two. Okie dokie. So then this part comes down and just goes around the bottom. And what else? Okay, then obviously this isn't right. So this comes down and clips in to these two sections here. There's one. There's two. And then this isn't sitting right, obviously. So just a little tight. And then flip that forward. And that's it. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. Size comparison wise, there it is with Tiger Tracks. Get that right out of the way. So massive, which I like. I dig that. And then rolls like a champ. Probably didn't need this extra flap here. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that probably would have been just fine. But whatever. It's there. Tires are rubber. My dog is going nuts. And the bucket rotates here and then also here to kind of get you whatever you need to kind of be a little construction vehicle. I love the controls. I love the seat. I love the steering wheel. Like those real world effects. This part here, you could probably get it better than what I have it, but I'm done messing with it, to be honest with you. And also the wheels, you know, with a little bit of pressure have a tendency to collapse. I wish that they kind of, oh wait, maybe that's it. That might be it. There we go. Yeah, now we're working. Okay, so strike that criticism. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really good, man. I think it's really, really good. I dig it an awful lot. So I don't have any real complaints about this. Maybe this here, a little bit of the silver coming through, but it's nitpicky. Very, very nitpicky. All right, off to leg mode. It is a little frustrating that these little things are come off, but I guess it's better that they pop off than they break, right? So, okay. Untab this. Get that to the front. Put the steering wheel. You got to put all like the real world stuff away. So, steering wheel away. That comes down over top. Seat down. Controls down. And we had to flip these around. So, honestly, let's just take this off. They come off anyway. If you just push enough, actually, this one was a little bit easier to work with. Let me see if, because I'd rather not untransform all of this. There we go. Come on, girl. There. Flip this over and this down, and then re-secure anything that you may have had to do to accomplish that. And truthfully, if you were like doing this at home, like just to go through the motions and just just to get it through the motions of doing the alt mode, you could not even do that, and then it would save you, you know, a little bit of time, energy, and effort. And then we just had to put this leg thing back on, but you do have to rotate these wheels to the front in order to do that. So yeah, this just goes on, and then once again these two bits grab a hold of this back end there. Then we'll get the arms sorted, so untab them from the body, bring them around, engage the butterfly joint, slide the shoulder down, and this will tab back into the side, and then rotate the forearm, I think, like that. It's either this way or the other way. I'll just double check. So bring this down, untab, engage the butterfly joint, slide up, tab back in, and then rotate the forearm at the bicep swivel to the front while you have that all engaged. All right, so next is the bucket. So rotate this out, untab your pieces here, up, up, and then let's see here, where is that little, there it is. Okay, so bend this so that you have access to this little piece here. Rotate that out all the way on both sides. And then once you do, rotate this up so that it catches inside of this little notch here. Then bring your armatures down to tab in to the front or the top of the bucket. Bring this piece up and bring these pieces around. Then you're basically in cleanup mode. So take this, spin this back around the way that it was, and then slide this back in underneath, and then slide that, keep that up. Okay, lock the front end loader back in using those tabs that were initially there in robot mode. That'll keep that from collapsing on you, which is pretty clever stuff. Okay, this piece can come back down, and I'm missing something. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Oh, this body here, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, extends ever so slightly. And that gets you your rocker, but I don't know if you're going to want to engage that or not. Time will tell on that bad boy. That's the only thing about this that makes me feel like, oof, I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's the right call. Okay, I'm going to clean it up. We'll take a look at it. Size comparison wise, there it is next to a Masterpiece Carbot. So, you know, it's going to be a big mamma jamma, you know, rightfully so. Let's talk about this thing for just a second. Actually, I'll show it to you with the long haul just because I got them right there. You know, so they're about their length in robot mode, so to speak. All right. Like I said, the only thing that worries me is this ankle. Everything else feels really solid. There's a lot, you want to make sure that these are put in a little bit tighter, so to speak, but some really clever stuff, like this locking mechanism here and the locking mechanism in this strut, really clever stuff. These, once you have them locked in, will help support also. You know, it's going to be able to hold some weight, but I do worry about that ankle. Also, so you can have these straight, right? But you can also extend them a bit, you know, and if you needed extra support, you know, and I think that that will do the trick. These, I think that this here and these arms are going to be the weakest links. But, you know, I'm just guessing. Let's see what else. Oh, and then of course you can swap these out for your green pieces if you don't want the tires. I definitely would want the tires if I were you, but these are just going to be robots for me. I'm still happy with Constructor personally. But yeah, pretty impressive, man. I dig it. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. Real quick, just to get it out of the way, getting the weapons in his hand is a little bit of a nightmare from time to time, as is the trumpet, just not the most user-friendly experience. On top of that, I don't like the green breakup from the hips to the pelvis, that green joint that they use for a universal. I'm not crazy about it for the knees either, but the knees are more forgivable to me because they kind of blend in a bit better. And to be honest, the same kind of goes for the hip skirts, but that would be the third on my list there. The tires also shaky-jakey a little bit on the shoulders, which isn't something that makes you feel the best about the quality of the product, but that is the only thing in that regard. There are, transformation-wise, there are a couple of spots along the way with this guy that are a little frustrating because you have to kind of push and set things against one another without a back brace to kind of push against. Those two panels on the inside of the legs when going to truck mode is a good example, but so is like the hip skirts connecting with the other pieces as well. I worry a little bit about the strength of that ankle joint, but that's a bit premature, so I can't really hold that against them quite yet. And those are all my negatives. Moving on to the positives, I have plenty to say about this. Materials feel great. 99% of the build feels great. Articulation has all of the base level stuff to get you the figure that you need. It's completely painted. Hardware where you need it. Plenty of accessories and appropriate ones. I love the chrome visor. I love some of the small but appreciated by me extra sculpt work detail that goes into it to give it that real world feel of the vehicle. The transformation overall is a breeze. There are a couple little things you got to be careful for, a couple little things that get a little frustrating, but for the most part, a bloody breeze. Very intuitive, fun, easy, not frustrating 90% of the time. And I mean, the articulation is incredible. All your standard articulation plus butterfly joints, ab crunch. There's even a teapot in there that I honestly forgot to mention. It's stellar, man. It's a really solid piece. It's maybe a step down from their long haul, but it is a very short step. You know, I love the way the vehicle mode looks. I should point out, I hate those little things on the shins that like flip out because they like pop off and it's frustrating. But at least they don't break. But I love the way the alt mode looks. I love the controls, the steering wheel, all that kind of stuff. The seat. I love the leg mode, especially with the options for tires or no tires. That's smart stuff in my opinion. So yeah, this is a definite strong recommend from me. Easily. No question. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.